one overpowering reason why some myths and mysteries persist throughout history is perhaps because it is not always easy or even feasible to clearly differentiate between fact and fiction, especially when it comes to secret societies and organizations which, more often than not, function and operate in the cover of darkness and in the shadows. For instance, have you ever heard of any of these names? Al-Hashashin, the Knights Templar, the Illuminati, or even the Freemasons. For centuries, they have echoed through legends of mystery and mystique, often tinged by conspiracies and controversies. And what may be surprising is that the presence of one such worldwide organization is also found here in Lucknow. The Freemasons, whose first Masonic lodge was established here as early as 1848. Even a hint of mystery and intrigue has always fascinated mankind. A driving curiosity and an urge to know the unknown is an integral part of the human psyche. Some mysteries may make us restless or even tremble with fear. Some others may leave us absolutely stunned and absolutely astonished. At times, we yearn to carefully decode their secrets, while at times we feel compelled to let them remain undisturbed. Hidden underground chambers, heavy locked bronze and iron doors, the dim flickering lights of candles, and perhaps a blood-stained stone or marble altar for sacrifice may exercise an almost unnatural grip on the human imagination. And today, in this film, we shall examine some of the facts and fiction behind one such international secret organization, which is known throughout the world more commonly as the Freemasons. The Mason's square, his compass, and the imprint of an all-seeing eye within a triangle. These are not just esoteric symbols of an organization, but in fact, a carefully coded language understood only by those who belong to the Brotherhood. If now, the question is, when and where did modern Freemasonry actually begin? Then in that case, there is actually more than one definitive answer. Some can trace its lineage back to the 10th century BC, during the reign of the legendary Israelite King Solomon in Jerusalem. Some connect it to the Knights Templar, the famous Christian warrior monks during the 12th and the 13th century, who mounted the Crusades in the Middle East. Some others believe its origin lies in 17th century Europe, where a guild of master craftsmen and stonemasons involved in the creation of monumental architecture used a special kind of softer stone called freestone in their buildings. They were therefore initially called freestone masons, but over time came to be known more commonly as the Freemasons. This group of Freemasons built very characteristic lodges, also known as Masonic temples. And it is here that they held their meetings in secret and followed various very specific rituals and practices. Freemasons prefer to communicate with each other with a special handshake, a secret or subtle Masonic sign or a secret Masonic password. To recognize each other without anyone else around them realizing that they are Freemasons. Every member progresses through what are called the 3 degrees of Freemasonry: the entered apprentice, fellow craft, and the master mason. At each stage, he learns symbolic lessons about morality and truth and the brotherhood. As more time passed, what began as a select guild of master masons and craftsmen slowly transformed itself into a well-networked, highly regulated, and hierarchical worldwide organization, which, however, in pursuit of its secular ideology, was always willing to open its doors to the elite and also the ordinary people to join as members. In 1717, the members of 4 lodges in England united and came together to form the first Grand Lodge of England, which marks the beginning of modern Freemasonry. Within a few decades, Freemasonry had begun to spread well beyond Europe, covering even some of the far corners of the globe. And among those who now joined the Freemasonry were many prominent thinkers, influential political and social leaders, as well as philosophical and intellectual visionaries like Voltaire in France, Benjamin Franklin, George Washington, Mark Twain, Henry Ford, George W. Bush in the United States of America, and even Winston Churchill, twice the Prime Minister of Great Britain. And here in India, with the arrival and ultimate dominance of the British East India Company, Freemasonry began in 1729, which is when the first provincial Grand Lodge was established at the historic Fort William in Calcutta. Not much later, Masonic lodges had emerged in Madras, in Bombay, and even in Lucknow and beyond. Some of the most eminent Freemasons included pioneering industrialists like Sir Dorabji Tata and leading patriots and politicians like Swami Vivekananda and Pandit Motilal Nehru. Even the Nawab of Rampur, Sayyid Raza Ali Khan, and Nawab Mansoor Ali Khan Pataudi, and some also from the film world, like the famous film star Ashok Kumar, joined the Freemasons. Meanwhile, here in Lucknow, the first Masonic lodge, the Morning Star Lodge number 7, was established in 1848. A little later, in 1879, came the Independent Lodge number 33. Others that followed, including the ancient landmark number 130 and the Bharat Jyoti number 144. However, some locals gave these somewhat mysterious Masonic lodges a new name, Jadughar, or the House of Mystery and Magic. And why did they do so? Was because of the rumors surrounding the activity of the Freemasons inside these mysterious Masonic lodges across the globe. As you may or may not know, the Masonic temples and lodges have always shared a distinct architectural design. And if you notice carefully, they are always oriented from the east to the west. The moment one steps inside, a black and white checkered floor appears, symbolizing the various aspects of light and darkness in life. You will also notice 2 spiraling pillars, Boaz and Jachem, which are replicas and represent The original towering gilded pillars of cedar wood from Lebanon in the ancient King Solomon's temple, one symbolizing the strength and the other symbolizing the establishment. Inside, when you enter, lies an altar upon which are kept some holy and sacred books of some major religions of the world. As you raise your head, you will see above you highly ornamental and chandeliered ceilings depicting the heavenly skies and the stars of the infinite universe. Sometimes you will also notice a bright blazing star with a golden capital letter G in the middle, which symbolizes both the existence of God and even the divine ratios of the ancient Greek Pythagorean geometry. It also represents the divine creator whom Freemasons define and identify as the great architect of the universe. Everywhere in this highly evocative and impressive atmosphere of a Masonic lodge or a Masonic temple, you will always find these paramount symbols of Freemasons and Freemasonry. This square stands for honesty and for fairness and for walking the path of moral and ethical righteousness. The compass represents the human ability to restrain and to control one's emotions, passions, and desires. The all-seeing eye of providence symbolizes a higher divine power which always keeps a careful watch over mankind. Some believe it is inspired by the ancient Egyptian gods of the sun and the moon, the eye of Horus and the eye of Ra. Masonic temples across the nations share these same symbols and designs, thus maintaining a unified global identity. And yet, Freemasonry and Freemasons have never been free from conspiracies and controversies. The most common criticism is that it is a gender-biased organization. Traditionally, the lodges admitted only men as their members. But by the late 20th century, and following a huge clamor, a few women's lodges and even co-masonry lodges had begun to appear in Europe and in America. Another equally serious allegation is that Freemasonry is undeniably a quid pro quo organization whose powerful members and well-networked use their brotherhood to gain mutual advantage in politics, in business, and even in higher judiciary. Such criticism and allegations have fueled the strong perception of Freemasonry functioning as a hidden power network interested in and aiming at creating a new world order. Not surprisingly, the Freemasons have very often been accused of trying to quietly and rather secretly influence and dominate international politics and world affairs from behind the scenes. But so far, no verifiable or concrete evidence has ever been found or ever been furnished. They say that their mission is completely straightforward and simple. And they claim that their primary mission is to make good men even better and to serve society and the community within the wide periphery of their reach and influence. But you may still well ask what exactly is their aim and what exactly is their purpose. That is, and perhaps shall always remain, a closely guarded secret and a mystery.